With the increase in active skincare showing no signs of slowing down, it's not surprising that interest in skin barrier repair is also soaring, with skin barrier attracting over 5.5 billion searches under that hashtag on TikTok. I thought I would take the time today to review some of my favorite barrier repair products, tell you a bit more about who they might benefit the most at different price points. Now, just to recap, your skin barrier is the outermost part of your skin. It's the top of the epidermis, the part that interacts with the environment. It's literally your boundary between you and the outside world. And it's a specialized structure called the stratum corneum. And when that gets damaged, and it can be damaged by a host of things, everything from water contact every time you shower, to cleansing your skin, to traveling long haul, to too much sun or too much cold. All of these things can whittle away at your skin barrier and make it less effective at doing what it's supposed to do, which in the main is to keep the bad stuff out and the good stuff in. And by good stuff, mostly we mean water. Keeping a certain amount of water in your outermost part of your skin is critical for it to stay functional. And that means flexible and effective as a skin barrier. And we like to think of it almost like a bricks and mortar structure, like a wall. So the skin cells are the bricks, and things like ceramides and other types of lipid are the mortar. And when that gets damaged, the wall becomes, ropey looking. There are gaps, there are bits that aren't as good as other bits, and things can penetrate that shouldn't do. So the whole idea of this category of skincare products is to maintain the integrity of your skin barrier, so you can do exciting things like use retinoids and keep an active skincare routine going right through winter. So let's get into it. So let's start off with two products many of you will be familiar with. That's the Eveng Sickle Fate and the La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Balm. Now, I think of these two as being really quite interchangeable. This is the large size of Sickle Fate, but does come in a 40 ml size, just like the La Roche-Posay product. They're around the same price. This is £10 for 40 mils. This one's £9.50, or maybe this one's £9.50, that one's £10, but around the £10 mark. And I think of them as being the kind of thing that's great to have in the bathroom cabinet for sore, chapped skin, and they're suitable for use on just about any part of the body. You can use them in the face, you can use them in the private areas, you can use them on your baby's bottom if they've got nappy rash. And in terms of what makes them effective, they have quite a similar formula. So we have a mineral oil glycerin base in terms of the occlusive humectant side of things in terms of barrier repair. With Cicaplast, we have shea butter, silicones, and glycerin. So this one maybe feels a little bit heavier and more paste-like on the skin. This one's slightly more sophisticated and finished, but I'd say still feels quite functional. Then we have some antibacterial metals. We've got copper and zinc in here. We've got zinc and manganese in here. And then both of them have a type of microbiome stimulator. So in the Eveng case, it's a postbiotic, which means treated bacteria have been included in the formula to help stimulate the skin's innate immune system. And then we have prebiotics in the Cicaplast balm. So again, very similar. Finally, we have some panthenol in here, which is a good skin conditioning agent and again, good for repair. I would say the drawbacks are that if you want to use this during the day to tackle an upset barrier, you're going to struggle a bit. I don't think I have any patients who'd be happy with putting these on during the day. They don't sit well under sunscreen and makeup. They're very much the kind of thing you'd put on to soothe the skin at night time. And I've definitely had a few patients who've reported breaking out with using Cicaplast for a prolonged period of time. So I think a great thing to have in the bathroom cabinet, a perfect little rescue for sore areas, whether it's on the body or the face. But I think that with barrier repair having come so far, we can probably do better when it comes to cosmetic elegance and user friendliness, especially in those using actives and who are potentially acne prone. Now, the next one I have today is the Ordinary's Soothing and Support Barrier Repair Serum. Soothing and Barrier Support Serum. It's not easy to remember that name. Which comes in at £17.50, I think, for 30 mils. Now, this is interesting. So when I think of barrier support, I don't necessarily think of a serum. And certainly for a lot of people, they naturally lean towards something a bit heavier. But I think for those who have oily skin but are prone to sensitivity, there is something appealing about a more light textured product when it comes to layering, especially for a morning routine. Interesting thing about this as well is the formulation. So it leans heavily on elements that are found in Centella asiatica, so casicide, asiatic acid, and asiaticicide. So 3 different components of Centella, plus some niacinamide. And then, of course, the thing you'll have seen all over social media is this bright pink colour, which is due to the inclusion of vitamin B12 or cyanocobalamin. Now, that's the part where I start to get a little bit, really? Because there isn't a huge amount of data for that particular ingredient. Vitamin B12 certainly isn't one of the immediate ingredients I think of when I think of barrier repair. I've not really seen much about it in the literature, and I do think it's probably there to give it its very Instagrammable colour. However, the rest of the formulation is good. Niacinamide is a great ingredient, particularly if you are oily but sensitive, because it soothes the skin barrier function. It's also highly anti-inflammatory, so again, a reassuring ingredient if you are acne prone. And as I said, it could easily be layered. I'd almost go as far as to say I think it probably needs to be layered with something a little kind of heavier on the occlusives. Now, that can still be a light textured moisturizer with something like silicones or a little bit of shea in there, but I do think you'll need a little extra between you and your sunscreen if you want this to sit well on your skin all day. But an interesting lineup of ingredients, a nice texture if you like something to layer, but I don't think it's going to meet the needs of anybody with a skin type that isn't oily. I think if you're a combination or dry, you're probably going to want something with a little bit more oomph. If I compare this to the first 2, I think this is probably not a full service barrier repair treatment. I think you definitely need some kind of occlusives in there. But it's definitely more suitable for daytime as compared to the Cicaplast and the Ciclefate. Now, if you want something that's suitable for use day and night, that works well under makeup, but is equally powerful enough to support your nighttime retinoid use, then Flawless Moisturiser Intense is what I'd plump for. Now, that's £32 for 50 mls. And I think of it as being a really full service barrier repair cream. So you have the elegance of occlusive ingredients, squalene and glycerin, to have that nice base for hydration, but you also have the power of sunflower shoot extract as the first barrier repair cream to contain this ingredient to help power up your skin battery and enable it to heal itself more rapidly and effectively. Plus you have madecassoside in there, so you've got that Korean skincare element with those lovely antioxidant, anti-inflammatory powers, ceramides, Aquaxyl. I could go on, the list is long, but essentially it means that it's really effective, but it's also going to work with your existing skincare routine. So I think this is brilliant for anybody who's using retinoids, especially as we head into winter, or is just thinking about starting their retinoid journey. I think it's suitable for use with most skin types, except those who've got very oily skin who might just find it a little bit too on the dewy side. But for everyone else, I think it's going to work really well, especially in cold weather. And the great thing about it is, despite being quite substantial, it won't block pores, so it's really safe for those with acne. So I think it ticks a lot of boxes. The final one is a little more spendy. This is Dermalogica's Stabilizing Repair Cream, and this comes in at £65 for 50 mls. Now, who I think this is good for are those of us with dry skin, perhaps more mature skin. I think it's a formula that's really well considered for probably a postmenopausal complexion, where the need for replenishing essential lipids and ceramides is high, and it has a really lovely, reassuring and nourishing texture, very comforting on the skin. It does take a little bit of time to soak in completely, but it feels elegant, it feels pleasurable, and I think particularly for nighttime use is a really lovely supportive barrier repair cream to use on the skin. It's also got some interesting ingredients. Again, it's got bisabolol, and it has an ingredient called Boravia diffuser root extract, which I'd never heard of, which is apparently used extensively in Ayurvedic medicine. But I think calming, soothing, on fragrance, and I think, as I said, great for mature skin and probably that little bit of a treat. So quite a different array of products, all with a similar purpose, and I think all with their own kind of niche and a particular audience. I think barrier repair creams are here to stay. I only see skincare becoming more actives focused. And I think that whatever stage you are in your journey, you're going to need one of these tools, or maybe even a couple of them, different tools for different situations to help you manage and feel confident in managing the use of actives like retinoids. So I think it's a fantastic evolution in the tools that we have available in our skincare toolkit. If you've tried some of these products, let me know how you found them. And if you haven't, I hope it's helped you make a sensible choice for your skin. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.